All right, all right. Happy Friday Eve, everybody. If this is your very, very first time catching our broadcast, this is the Stay Out Your Lane podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Anissa Ferguson. Look, I'm getting all this feedback from my own phone, so excuse me for that. But listen, if this is your first time, I'm so excited to bring to you a podcast that's like none other, right? How many times have you heard the phrase "stay"? Right. So here really differently. We talk to some amazing, amazing people who have done some phenomenal things while they are just continuing to live like a passion-driven and purpose-filled life, but they're doing it on their own terms. They are not allowing themselves to be in any pigeonholes or just allowing other people to define their roles or their life because you're here, that you feel the same way. All right. So listen, four things every single week we promise to bring to you guys. The very first thing, stay. S. We want to make sure that you're getting stories, not just the success stories, but also the of struggle, right? Because everything and every situation is not going to be perfect. And we talk about that here. So that's the very first thing. The second thing is an offer. We always offer an actionable to do. I tell you guys every single week, so if this is your first time hearing me, listen, I'm not a motivational speaker by far, but I do want to motivate you. And so I've brought some of the best to make sure that you're getting stuff from everywhere, from all the people that could possibly just pour into you some great stuff. So today is no different. The third thing, why? We're going to always push you to yield to the greatness that's within you because it's there. Trust and believe. If you don't believe it for yourself, trust and believe me. There's greatness inside of you, and we're going to help pull that out. Last but not least, leverage. We're going to always make sure that we're using what you already have to get to the place where you want to be. Now, our guest for today, if you do not know her, I'm going to need you all the way up because she is phenomenal and amazing, doing some amazing things. Now, when you guys come back on either the replay or you're listening now, I want you guys to come in and drop a 1 or just look and let me know. Have you guys ever read or heard of this really small magazine called Black Enterprise? Right. I know y'all laughing, right? Well, this particular woman, boss woman, for them like constantly, like every other week you turn around. I think she just dropped something yesterday, which was a phenomenal article. You guys are not ready, basically. So I just want to introduce this phenomenal woman, Miss Nicole Webb of the NK Webb Group. Let me bring her up, and then I'm going to just tell you all the goodness about her. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Anissa, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for me and joining us. First of all, I have to tell people a little bit about you because you're so humble, but you're always dropping nuggets. You're a phenomenal writer, career strategist, HR professional, educator, consultant, you name it. You have got it going on. And so I just want to say before, if I haven't said it before, kudos, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a good girl.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited. It's Friday Eve and it's 8:00. And we know, congratulations. I know you're a new mom, but thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So here we're just going to get into it. We're going to start spilling some tea because I want people to know more about your story. Because typically what it is we look at where people are and it looks amazing and fabulous, but we don't know about how you got there. You know, and a lot of people feel like, okay, I'm in this place, I'm in this mind frame where I can't see myself doing anything more than where I am, right? And we all go through that, like the imposter syndrome and all of these different things that we experience. But you have possibly felt the same way. You've possibly gone through all of these things, but you never let it hold you down. And you just continue to excel. And so I just want to give you an opportunity just to give us a little bit about how you are, just like in general, like what's what? Give us the insight about Nicole Webb and the Webb Group.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I started off my career in human resources straight out of undergrad. So I was 21 years old, got a job in the human resources department with the University of Maryland, Baltimore. Now, my position with them was a temporary job. I worked 40 hours a week. No health benefits, no retirement benefits, nothing like that. It was just, I was paid by the hour. So while most people, wouldn't look at that as a true opportunity, indeed it was for me. It was the opportunity for me to get my foot in the door.
Yes.
Get to know people, get to know how to do a little bit of everything. So that way, when an opportunity opened up, Nicole was there and I already knew how to do the work. So there was no need for them to do a recruitment and look for what they had right in front of them. So that's really how I got my start in the human resources field. A secretary, she had went out on leave, didn't return, her job open, and I started off as a permanent secretary in human resources.
Look at that.
Yes, I had a degree. No, that was not my dream job, but it was an opportunity to get me the start that I needed.
Yes. You know what? I think that your story and what a lot of people experience that same thing, but they don't seize the moment like you did. You said to yourself, okay, this is not ideal. Circumstances are not exactly what I want, but I still see opportunity because I know me. Like, you're going to bet on yourself or somebody, you might as well bet on yourself. And you've done that. Okay. All right. Let's keep going because I want to hear it's getting good.
Absolutely. And let me kind of back up a bit too. I was very blessed to have very supportive family, my parents, and also mentors who helped me to understand the value in that opportunity. Because I'll be honest with you, at 21, I'm thinking I have my degree, I should be in management, I can do the work. And they had to kind of bring me down to reality and say, Nicole, hold on, pump your brakes. You have to crawl before you walk. And I'm glad I was humble enough to receive that advice because it really helped me. So once I took on that permanent secretarial role, I kind of, again, learned as much as I could from different people. And as different opportunities opened up within the human resources department, I had applied and I was hired. I went into a diversity EEO training specialist role. I did that for about 3 years. Then another position had opened, a recruitment specialist. I applied for that. I was hired. So I learned recruitment for about 2 years. After that time, I then identified that it was really time for me to leave my comfort zone and move on to another employer. And I did that. It was very scary because I was very comfortable with being where I was for so long and knowing the players. But I personally identified that if I did not move on, I was going to be stuck because where I had worked, people didn't leave those jobs. They either retired or unfortunately they died off the jobs.
Look at that.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things. I had to recognize that for myself because had I not, I would probably still be there today waiting for an opportunity to open up. But instead, I went to DC for working for the George Washington University, where I worked as a human resource compliance officer. And I must say, that was not my ideal job. I thought it was my dream job, but that was the job that really turned out to be my worst nightmare, but my greatest teacher. Because although I was not happy in that role, there were so many valuable lessons that I learned. It helped shape me in terms of teaching me what I did want in my next role. Yes, the money was great. Awesome. I had the title and status, but what I realized was I wasn't happy. Nicole was not happy. I had no work-life balance, no personal life, and the work was just not fulfilling. So here I am today.
Listen, wow.
Working as a deputy director in equal employment opportunity by day. So yes, I still have a 9 to 5, but I'm also growing my business.
But when I listen to you, I feel like takeaways, if you will, which is awesome. And I'm very glad that you brought it up, is that you're a dualpreneur, right? You have a day job, but you also are working and really killing it. It's a full-blown business that you are really taking your time to mature, and it's amazing. But what I was thinking about when you were speaking originally, you said, oh, I did X for 3 years, and I did this for 2 years, and then I turned around and I did this. And what that shows me, and what I'm hoping that people who watch this and as they come back to watch the replays, they get, it takes sometimes 5 years to be an overnight success, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not that everything is automatic. But if you take your time to mature and really hone in on your craft, that you'll really start to see like the fruits of your labor come into fruition. And now you can say, okay, I'm still not exactly where I want to be, but I'm gonna use it as a lesson. And so that's a lot of what I'm taking away and what I'm getting from your story. Let's see, I think we have a few people in here. Hi, Tanisha. Let's see, we have folks in here. Hello. Hey, Karen. Hey, Karen.
Hello.
You guys, please drop your questions in. Yes, Nicole is here, and she has so much, and we're going to really unpack her story and a lot of what she's doing now, because I usually like to set the stage for where people are so that everyone can come to the plate and say, okay, I know now where. I know who Nicole is. This is her background. Her background looks like my background, perhaps. You know, so many people. But listen, you have just really taken your and have really written off the charts. Like literally, I'm excited every time I see something that you've written, but you've also written a book. And I want to get into capacity right now. We talked about this last week where you're building you're working for somebody else from 9 to 5, but you're working for yourself from 5 to 9. Mm-hmm. Is that how it feels sometimes? Like literally it's around the clock.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a lot of hard work, especially with having a 5-month-old. So I can say right now, I am struggling with doing both.
That's the real though.
Exactly. I mean, before it was like easy breezy. I knew once I got off from work, come home, get myself together, eat something, and I'm on my computer and I'm working. But now having a little one, I had to kind of readjust a little bit, and he's priority. So I get him ready, get him prepared to go to bed, and I work better at night while he's asleep. But what I did want to mention, going back to you talking about, you know, me working and putting the time in, and now I am where I am. I just want to let people know that starting at the bottom is the best preparation for the top. That's what I've come to realize. And I say that because when you understand what it takes to start at step 1, you'll respect and appreciate step 15. And all too often, folks want to circumvent the process and just reach success. And a lot of times I find the success does not last because they don't really understand how they got there and what it takes to stay there. So just know timing and positioning is key to anything that you're trying to accomplish. Because yes, I'm 15 years in my industry. I'm very grateful for that. I'm still learning. I'm still growing, you know, as I grow my business, but I have no regrets in terms of any of the jobs that I've held, including the one that I currently have today.
Wow. That is really important what you said. And I can really respect that. And I see a lot of people, like you said, if you want to go far, you go with someone, but if you want to go fast, you just go by yourself.
Right.
And I think it's the same in business or when you're trying to be in business. Take your time, hone in on the skills, really learn. Because even if you have employees, when you get to the point where you have employees, you have to know what you're training them. You have to know what you want them to learn. They have to have, you have to have that ingrained, okay, these are the certain steps that they need to take in order to really match where I am and to help me so that I don't have to do those things anymore. But if you've never, ever done them, if you've never been, like you said, on ground zero so that you can move up,
right?
How do you even know what your employees need to know?
Absolutely.
So I think that's really, really key. And I wonder, like I said, this is a really good segue because I'm excited. I bought and read your book, and I thought that it was really, really helpful. And it is available on Amazon, so please support Nicole. You can also see a lot of her writing, and like I said, in Black Enterprise. But let me read something. She has been featured in a number of places. I'm just going to put you out here because you're very amazing and very noted, and I'm excited about that. So she's been featured in Forbes. She's been featured on TV One, Black Enterprise, Millennial Magazine, also Forbes Coaches Council member. And she also, like I said, she's an author, she's a journalist, and she also teaches HR at the University of Baltimore. Now, with all of that, and I want to talk a little bit about your book, but just like let us know sort of how did you get to this place where you decided that you wanted to write a book, and what's like your target audience, because I want people to know like what they can get out of it. Like I said, I did read some pieces. I don't want to give too much away, but I thought it was a phenomenal read. And it has a lot of good tips in it, but I want you to introduce it, and then, you know, we can show people how to get there.
Thank you. And it's so funny. I actually forget sometimes that I wrote that because I feel like it was so long ago. But just like many people, as I have grown, as I have worked to grow NK Webb Group, I'm always looking for things to kind of incorporate into my business model. And I remember going to different events and asking a speaker, you know, what would you recommend that I do to further market my skill set and, you know, things that I can do to generate revenue? And he said, write a book. And I was like, okay. So then I read some other business books and things, and a lot of the same recommendations showed up. Write a book. So I was like, okay, what can I write about? So naturally, I'm a human resource professional. So I deal with employees on a day-to-day basis, primarily helping them work through different issues that they've had at work that could have been avoided. So I said, you know what, how about if I write a book to address some of the most common issues that people have so that they can avoid them going forward. So that's how I came up with the Workplace Playbook. I mean, it's a very easy, fundamental read. Initially, it was designed for folks who were just starting out in their first job, or maybe needed a refresher if they were going for a new job. So that's how that really, you know, came about, because it started off initially as an ebook, and then I printed a few copies. So
yeah,
and that story.
No, it was excellent. I thought it was an excellent read. And the funny thing about it is, like, you hit on so many topics that people sometimes overlook. And it's like you overlook the obvious because you say, oh, it's a job interview, or, oh, it's my first day at work, or, oh, I'm just going to breeze through this probationary period. But you really like take the time and you dissect every single piece. So for those of you who are watching or who are listening, when we get a chance, I think we need to get this, because all of us, even if you're not going to work for somebody else and you're an entrepreneur, there are certain things, that qualities that you may look for in your employees that I think as you're, and even mentoring, if you're mentoring someone, a young person, or just someone in business in general, I think these are all amazing tips, because you talked about go. Sorry, I don't know technology. Look, that's not my strong suit. I need like an IT professional to just sit here. I mean, the whole time it just went black. But you know the funny thing, and I digress, but I was gonna promote some more on Instagram before Instagram went down.
Oh goodness!
I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it went down maybe about an hour or so. So those of you who are on here, you know what I'm going to ask, and I didn't ask to share this Facebook Live with your friends and family, because people need to hear Nicole's story, and I'm really excited to have her again. Before we get back into the book, let me just highlight that Karen is on here, and she agreed. She said it takes years to become an overnight success. Yes, absolutely. Karen has shared her story, and she is absolutely correct, and I believe that that flows right in line with what Nicole is saying. You know, take your time, learn from the bottom up. She wrote a book, like literally, and you know, I think a lot of people, we actually have another author on here, Tanisha. She's an amazing author as well. And I think sometimes people don't stop and look at what they have and where they are. And this can also help them to be the CEO of their career, right? Because it gives them options.
Absolutely.
To write a book. Yeah, to think about the things that you think are so obvious to you. Like I said, the stuff that you miss. I was reading, I was like, oh yeah, maybe you should do this. I was reading a book like, I need to make a note of that. But these are things that you know, because you are a seasoned entrepreneur, and you're also seasoned in the HR field. And these are things that people just don't think about. So I highly advise, if you guys are in the market, to go right on Amazon. Literally, I downloaded it in 5 seconds. It was very affordable, and it was very valuable as well.
Thank you.
So please show your support for Nicole. Nicole, give us a little bit more about the book. Can we give them anything? Can I tell them anything about the book? Because I feel like it was just so helpful.
Absolutely. I'm totally fine with that.
Let me see, because it was a lot of good stuff and I don't want to give everything away. But let's see. She put something on here and I thought it was really important. It was talking about during your probation period. I feel like any time that you're working for someone, she said documentation beats conversation. And I thought that was key because when she mentioned it, she talked about doing good work and not getting comfortable, right? And you mentioned that before. You're talking about being in your comfort zone and how, when you really started to learn was when you got, albeit in it that you didn't really care for, which is, I think a lot of people find themselves in that place from time to time. They're in a job or an environment that they really don't like, but that's where you learn, right? That's where you learn. If you're smart, that's where you learn.
Yeah, and I think it's just important to understand that we encounter different seasons of our careers. So yes, you have that initial job when you're first starting out, just getting your feet wet. Then you want to move on to something new, something more challenging. Sometimes it's perfect, it works. Sometimes you have challenges with the work that you're performing. Sometimes you have challenges with coworkers or maybe management. But all these different things are happening for a reason and for a season. But it's really your responsibility to recognize what that season is supposed to be teaching you to strengthen you for that next career opportunity. Because every position that you hold is going to prepare you for the next one. That's what I believe. That's what I believe.
So you just want to come in here and just preach straight up. I'm with it. I'm here for it because listen, I love it. Absolutely. I think that is really key. Every single thing that you're saying is totally spot on. And it does prepare you. It's like a step ladder. You have to master the first step before you can take the next step. And as parents, we know the same thing. You hold your kid's hand for a while and as soon as they're leading you. So it's the same thing. And speaking of leading, let's just put it out there. You have really started to do a lot with other people. You're a consultant. And I think it's really good for people to start to see where you are now and how they can really take advantages of the services that you offer. And then after that, we're going to talk about an event that you have coming up. So can you just kind of let people know what the NK Webb Group is, first of all, and then what services you offer? Because I know within 30, 45 minutes, they're not going to learn everything that it takes to be the CEO of their career and their business. But I want to give them resources so that as we move forward, and if they want to connect with you afterwards, they have every single opportunity and every advantage to do that. So let us know about the Webb Group and exactly what you do and how you can service folks.
Absolutely. So NK Webb Group specializes in professional development for individuals and HR consulting for small to mid-sized companies that outsource that function. So let's kind of talk about professional development first. That's like my heart. That's like my baby. That's why I really wanted to start my company. And I say that because I found being in the workplace, most employers will invest in your professional development, send you to training courses, classes, workshops, what have you, but they would only support what was specific to the job that they hired you to perform. But I realized that for people like myself, there were different things that I was interested in to further my career, but not necessarily in that specific role in which I worked for with my company. So I had to come to the realization that I needed to create a movement to help people understand that their professional development is their responsibility because their career trajectory is their responsibility as well.
Okay. Yes.
Often we put our careers in other people's hands. We look for other people to recognize our talents, our strengths, and our weaknesses. We look for other people to recognize us for promotion instead of saying for ourselves, hey, this is what my goal, these are what my goals are. Let me create a plan to help me get there. You're responsible. You are 100% responsible for your career success. 100% responsible. Yes. No one forces us to accept jobs. No one forces us to stay on jobs. No one forces us to leave jobs. We make those decisions for ourselves. So as far as the professional development that I teach, I'm really educating and empowering the individual to understand holistically the importance of taking charge of their own career and doing work that they love. Even if that means paying for these different training courses and development out of their own pocket. You are investing in yourself because you are your biggest investment, and the return will follow. Now, secondly, as far as the HR consulting, naturally, that's what I do. I've studied it in school. I've been practicing for 15 years, and I teach it at the University of Baltimore. So that's really my second baby. This is what I love doing. I'm great at it.
Yeah.
You know, not to sound cocky, but
I realize put it out there.
I love what I do. And what I found is a lot of small to mid-sized companies can't afford a salaried HR person on staff. So a lot of times they would outsource, but sometimes they may not get the best quality, you know, HR consulting. So I said, well, you know what? I can offer them that quality that will ensure that they are complying with federal and state laws and furthering their goals and visions. So that's actually what I do. You know, if companies need me to, you know, develop different recruitment forms, termination forms, plans, or even to come in for different compliance training, such as diversity and inclusion, sexual harassment prevention, myself and a colleague of mine that works along with me currently, that's something that we provide. So that's where
awesome. Wow. I'm just like, because you know, some of that stuff, it just goes right on over my head because you don't, like I said, you don't think about it, but because you've been in this business for over a decade, you've experienced it, like you said, from the bottom all the way up. You've gotten expertise, and now you're at a point where you can actually share that. It is like, wow. Listen, let me see. We have another comment. She said, yes, invest, Janae. Hey, Janae, thanks for joining. She says, invest in self first. Yes, I totally agree. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I'm really excited about your company because those are things that, like I said, we just don't think about. We don't really expose ourselves to this other area and this other like experience when it comes to HR. We just think, oh, you know, it's like this black box. You know, if you're not in HR, your view of it is completely different. But when you think about being the CEO of your career and being the CEO of your business, these are components that you really have to think about, especially as you become more advanced in your business. Like I said, when you have employees, because at some point, right, in order to leverage what you know, you have to staff some other people.
Absolutely.
You have to, right? Absolutely. So let's talk about this event that you have coming up. And I know it's a little ways out, but for those who are watching and those who are going to listen on a replay, she has an event coming up. And we're the first ones to talk about this. So I'm really excited. I'm going to get her to actually introduce this event because this is the third time, right? This is the third year that you're doing it. So let you introduce the events you have coming up, and then we can kind of get people pulled into how they can attend. Because it's local. For those who are in the Washington, D.C. area, you can attend live. I'll let you talk about it, and then you can let us know if there's some virtual options as well.
Absolutely. So this coming October, Saturday, October 12th, I'll be hosting my third annual Be the CEO of Your Career workshop. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Owings Mills, Maryland. That's about 15 minutes outside of Baltimore. Now, it is a very small and intimate event. I am probably going to cap the seats off at 20 to 25 people. And I do that purposely because I like for my events to be small and intimate so I can get to know all of the attendees, have that direct interaction with them. So that way I'll have an opportunity to answer all of their questions and give them feedback on any and everything that they present to me during that day. But the ideal target market for this event is basically ambitious career professionals, whether you're unemployed, employed, looking to change careers, looking to get ahead in your career game, and just really looking to take full charge of your career, align yourself with the appropriate resources that are going to help you accomplish your career goals. These are the folks that I'm looking for. And like I said, it is a small, intimate event. I understand not everyone is my client. I'm not trying to reach the masses at this time, but I will make my small impacts as I go.
That is awesome. Awesome. Listen, you guys have got to go to her website. I'm going to put it up in just a moment so that you can get into this particular class. And as you can see, you have to move pretty quickly because it is going to be small and it's going to be intimate. And we're going to have Nicole back after or during this time. Maybe we'll come and do a live pop-up at our event, depending on how things go. Because the whole premise of starting this podcast is to allow people to enjoy what they do the most, right? Not feel like, okay, so I went to school to be an accountant, so that's the only thing I should ever do. You know, what she's teaching you are the fundamental principles that you need in order to just take that idea, that thought, I may still need for a season, but I can also be an author. I can also be a speaker. I can be a travel agent. I can do all the other things that just make my heart, excited. And she's going to teach you all about how to do that. And also, if you decide that, hey, I don't want to be an entrepreneur, like that's just not my bag. Like she said, she knows her audience, right? And that's know who your target is. But you may just say, you know what, I just want to do just something a little different. Maybe even in my career, but I want to do something just a little different. And how to do that. And I'm super, super excited again that you have chosen to come and spend a little bit of time with us today. But I want to talk just lastly a little bit about how you got started with Black Enterprise, where you normally write articles. Like I said, I know you had one come out yesterday, and I just want to know, like, how do you get your audience? How do you talk to certain people? Because I know you're going to be doing one with a guy that I absolutely love his music. I think because he's what I get these brain farts. Just talked to, oh my goodness, what is his name? He does a lot of instrumental music. You just had him on. You were just talking about you were going to interview him. I'm trying to think. He's a Glasper, Robert Glasper.
Robert
my
Glasper.
Gosh. Yeah, like how does my mind like a mom thing? Like tell me what. Crap is like so quick into my mind. But I love him.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody that's on my list for me to interview. But just to give you guys some background in terms of how I got started writing in Black Enterprise, again, it all started with me investing in myself. I started writing, officially self-publishing my material on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a feature where you can self-publish articles. And what I would do is I would take situations from work that could have been avoided and kind of write a story based on how to prevent getting fired, how to prevent from getting written up for being tardy for work. So whatever situation I was dealing with at work with an employee, I would kind of spin it and create a how to avoid type article. And I did that for about a year and a half on LinkedIn. I hired my own personal editor to edit my material. So I was trying to do as much as I can to produce quality, initially. Even when nobody was looking, I knew that I wanted to produce good work. And that's what I did. Paid for it out of my pocket, the editor, and I would just publish my work. And one day, a young lady who was writing for Black Enterprise, she and I had connected on LinkedIn because I would always comment on her articles, admired her work. And she asked me through the comments, hey, Nicole, I admire your work too. Have you ever thought about writing for Black Enterprise? And I said, well, it came across my mind, but I had no clue how I would make it happen. And she said, well, you know what? I want to connect you because I think you would be great. I read your articles all the time on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And basically how it happened. And that's why I tell people you are always being evaluated. You don't know where your next opportunity is going to come from. So even when I wasn't aware of who was watching me and reading my work, I paid out of my pocket to have someone edit my material to self-publish on LinkedIn so that I could ensure that what I put out was a true reflection of me, a quality worker who cared about her work. And as a result, I had someone watching me who I wasn't even aware of or familiar with. And she was the link that got me my start to a national publication.
Look at that. Wow. Who would think, like, we had this conversation even before the podcast, Nicole and I, about just social media in general and how, like, that's how we connected. I have been a fan of reading her material and watching her, and we connected and it was organic. But it's just the fact that something so unique to you, something that you're passionate about, you just said, let me just do this. And you gave of yourself freely, right? And I think that that's awesome, because I always believe that if you go out and you bless other people, God is going to make sure that he blesses you.
Absolutely.
And this situation doesn't seem to be any short of that. Dang, we're going to have to do a special on LinkedIn. Would you guys want to learn more about LinkedIn? If you will, can you just drop a 1 in the comments, even if you're watching it on a replay? What you said, I mean, that just opened up a whole another can, a whole different dimension, because I've heard so much about LinkedIn. Honestly, it's not like my number one social media. I really, sometimes I struggle with social media myself. But I always say, if you pick your 1 or 2, you don't have to be great at everything, but if you pick your 1 or 2, then you just make sure that you're giving content, supposedly all the time. I try to be better. I look up, I'm like, oh my God, she's already posted 12 Insta stories, and they're all like phenomenal. I'm like, I'm going to just be reposting all of her Insta stories, but they're so good. So we're going to have to really do like a LinkedIn. I think we're probably going to have to explore that a little bit more. So that was really, really important. But listen, let's get into it. So folks, I always tell you guys, again, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I want to make sure that you are motivated to your box. So I have Nicole here to help me. We worked on an actionable to do for this week. And so based on what she said, you're not going to be like super surprised by this week's actionable to do. Make sure you pull out your pen and your paper, and let's talk about investing in yourself, right? So what Nicole and I talked about was you guys identifying individuals that you can work with, whether it's a class like what Nicole offers, or a similar class, or some other outlet, or a person, a mentor that you can work with, where they are, when their offerings are, and how you can take advantage of it. Because I think that that's going to be the most pivotal piece of that. Like I said, you can start. At least we have 20 seats. I don't know how many she's going to have, so we're just opening up for you guys now today. But just to start, and I want to give Nicole an opportunity to comment on it as well, because this is one of the main things that she really, really truthfully sticks by, investing in yourself. And I truly agree. And I'm going to put Janae's comment up again, that yes, you have to first invest in yourself. So Nicole, your thoughts about the action?
Absolutely. Again, I feel like all too often we're looking for others to tell us what we need to do, how we need to do it, or we may not go to a class or a training because it's like, hey, I'm not paying my money. I've heard people actually say that. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things in which you have to think about, is this something that I really want for myself? And if I partake in this, what is it going to do for me? How is it going to position me going forward in my career, or just personally as an individual? Mm-hmm. So I would just recommend to you, don't cheat yourself. You have to invest in yourself, even if it isn't a class or a training. What about a book on a topic that you really want to know about? I love books. I personally purchase a lot of used books from Amazon. You can get them as low as 40 cents sometimes. I mean, you can get them dirt cheap, but it is an investment in your professional development, because it's an educational tool that's hopefully teaching you something that you did not already know. Audio books are also good. I'm actually going to start exploring more of those, since, my life has changed with a 5-month-old. I have to take advantage of being in the car on my drive to and from work. So again, whatever you can do to invest in your development, I highly recommend it. You will not regret it. It is for you. No one can take it away from you. So make the investment.
They saved my life, like an audiobook, seriously, because on the way driving somewhere, picking up, because I'm an Uber for my kids. So that's my new job. That's my soul. I'm Uber for the kids and all their activities. So they'll get in the car, like, what are we listening to now, Mom? Like, who's talking? And, they can almost pick up some of their names. Is that such and such? Is that such and yeah, I'm reading my book, be quiet. I'm listening to my book, hush. But no, I think that was really important to do that. And it's funny because the kids and I have written a series of books, but we wrote one together, and we actually had it where the kids literally read the book, and like we had it audio, we did it as an audio book.
Nice.
And it was so important for other kids because, they're little, and, some of them have different ranges. And so if they can't read or they can't understand some of the words, we put it together as an audio book.
Okay.
So you saying that was really, really cool. So yeah, I think that, just kind of staying out of your lane again, like I'm always pushing that, staying out of your lane, investing in yourself. And I agree. I'm not going to lie. I thought at one point I was one of those people who said, I don't need to pay for that. I can Google it.
Mm-hmm.
I can Google my way to success. Lies. All lies. They are all lies. But you know what? I do find value. If you find somebody, because I mean, I think like the term coach and consultant is being thrown around so liberally now, which is why it was so important to me to have other people, other experts, because I don't claim to be an expert in all these different areas at all. But you have people who are, like I said, you only got to know, you don't have to know everything, but you know people who know what you need to know. Right. And so you feed into that and just put yourself in a state of being a student and being teachable, being coachable, saying to yourself, okay, this is something that I need to learn and I'm going to invest in it. Because I mean, that'll cut your learning curve in like half, probably even more than that. If somebody's already gone through it, like you said, you took 3 years to do one thing, 2 years to do something else. So I don't have to take those 5 years that you took. All I have to do is pick up, right, your book, purchase it, read what you've already put together, package it so nicely, and now I can go out here and capitalize on what you've done. And that just cuts it out a lot shorter for me. So yeah. You guys, if you have questions that are watching, and thank you again so much for joining us, please drop them in while we have Nicole on. If you have questions about her writing, how you can potentially become a writer, is some publications or at least some tips, let's ask her while she's on if you have a question. If not, drop it in afterwards and we can maybe shoot them over to her and see if she'll post some answers to them later on.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes. Let's see. A few folks in. But listen, while they're doing that, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for joining me, taking time out your schedule, away from that precious baby boy, and just to pour out to become the CEO of our businesses and our careers. So let me put on once again information about the conference. So the 3rd annual Be the CEO of Your Career workshop is going to be held October the 12th. So I want to make sure you guys save the date. It is a Saturday. It is in the DMV area. Perhaps they may have some options for virtual, maybe not, but at least you'll be able to plug in and get to know her and to kind of see what her offerings are. And if they can take advantage of that, because I'm sure you help people all across the U.S., right? Probably virtually.
Absolutely. Because I do offer one-on-one coaching. If you feel like you need one-on-one career coaching, that is something that I do offer. The coaching is with me. I do currently offer resume writing because that's like my biggest seller. A lot of professional resumes. Also, the workshops are really what I'm pushing too, because I realize that a lot of people need that hands-on interaction and training. And we'll just be developing as we go. Once we identify the needs, we'll actually, fill those voids. So we're working.
Well, I have a quick question before we go. And when you said that I have like sometimes when I see resumes and people are applying and you have to kind of go through, is longer better or is it concise to the point? Because I know some places, I guess maybe depending on your genre, what you're doing, longer can be better. But what is your like staple? What is the rule of thumb when it comes to TVs and resumes?
So when it comes to resumes, the common myth that people hear is that your resume should not exceed 2 pages. That is totally not true. Okay, your resume it can indeed exceed 2 pages as long as the information that you're including on the resume is relevant to the position in which you're applying to. As long as it's relevant to the position in which you're applying to. We don't need to see your full work history if it doesn't have any relevance to what you're applying to, show any transferable skills. We don't need to see that. So just kind of keep that in mind. It can exceed 2 pages, but it needs to have purpose what's on paper. So that's totally fine.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, because, listen, I guess we don't need to put that you worked at the AMC when you were 16 years old, right?
Exactly. Yeah, please. So, we don't need to see really all that.
Huh? What'd you say?
No, I said that's absolutely true. We don't need to know all of that. That's outdated.
Yeah, I've seen them go back. I'm sure you got some serious stories of what people have put on some resumes.
Yes, and trying to talk people through to understand why they don't need to include certain things. So it's a process.
It's going on there. I did it. It's going on there, Nicole.
It's okay. If what you want. I'm telling you, I don't recommend it. But.
I know, right? Listen, I think that you have dropped some serious nuggets. I am wishing and praying nothing but blessings on your life and on your family's life. Thank you for spending time with us. Folks who are watching or watching on the replay, thank you so much for joining us. I see Tanisha's still there, Janae, Karen. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And we are looking forward to coming back or having you back at some point at or around the time of this workshop, because I know it's going to be transformative. It's going to be really powerful. So so maybe I'll talk to you offline and see how we can connect. And we may even have you back on about LinkedIn. So
okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
So thank you all so much for joining us. I will see you guys again next week. Same great channel, same great time. Take care and have a blessed week on purpose, with purpose. And again, stay out of your lane and do what? Command your life's highway. Take care, guys. See you next week.